What intro?
That's amazing.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome into Sports and Stuff. Your host Vince here with my co-host Ryan. Whoa. Today we're going to give you some stuff. Feel free to like and subscribe, share our YouTube channel. We don't have a fancy watermark to show you to hit the subscribe button, but hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell for upcoming episodes. We're on Twitter and Instagram. Ryan does a great job doing the Twitter. I do the Instagram. We have a Patreon account. Donate to our Patreon account. Follow us on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. Subscribe there, unsubscribe, resubscribe, re-rate, re-review. Do all the things you need to do. So the stuff. Ryan, I'm going to pass it off to you to take the lead on this one.
All right, so I guess we've been talking, and I really just don't remember exactly the time that it started, but at some point they decided to ruin TV and make us get 1,000 subscriptions that all have different monthly fees.
And the monthly fees also keep going up.
Yeah, just to watch shows that were already going on cable if you paid for that. Or, I mean, you could find them mostly on Netflix at one point in time. It's just insane. I mean, now you have to have a baseball package. You have to have a basketball package. You have to get the NFL package if you want to get the red zone. It's insane. Like,
also,
it's
if you
all
want to
money
get the
grab.
Orioles locally, you can't watch them on MLB TV because Masson owns the rights. So you have to get a Masson subscription, or you just link it through one of your cable outlets, like Sling or
Cable.
Fios, if you have cable. But most people nowadays are going wireless. No one wants to use the cable boxes. Everyone wants to use Sling or YouTube TV.
And I mean, of course, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I mean, a lot of people, including myself, like, you're not going to go without sports. So you end up giving in and you give into some sports and then you get hooked. And like, I guess they get enough viewership that they keep it going. And it just became a thing now. And I mean, they do it with all kinds of TV shows, all kinds of little comedy shows and drama shows, not just sports.
I mean, before, there was just, you had X amount of channels. You can get Comcast, Verizon, any of these. But now, like say with Sling, you have the different packages. One orange package, you get X amount of sports channels, but then you don't get the other sports channels. You need to get the other type of Sling. Or YouTube TV, you get certain sports channels, but then there's all these different add-ons. So at the end of the day, if you get these add-ons to these streaming services, it might be slightly cheaper than you'd be paying for cable, but it's not that different. So like basically all it is you're paying for maybe a little less to the same amount. It's just there's no cords because everybody has smart TVs nowadays with apps built into the TVs. So instead of using a box, which is just a little bit more antiquated, outdated, and yeah, just all in all kind of lame for old people. Yeah, I mean, and to your point, Ryan, like these streaming services, Apple TV Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Paramount
Hulu,
Plus,
YouTube
Hulu,
TV.
YouTube TV. Yeah.
I think they got something called Fubo.
Yeah, Fubo. I don't even, honestly, dude, I have no idea what that even is. I just see advertisements for it. What's another one? Peacock. Like there's just so many, like, and that's the NBC one. Disney Plus. I forgot about that one. How can you forget about Disney Plus? So you have, like, you're like, oh, I really want to watch this show. Let me look it up on this streaming service that I'm already paying for. Oh no, I have to sign up for this other streaming service to get that. But I'm only signing up for this streaming service just to watch the one show I wanted to watch. So then you're hooked on paying X amount more dollars a month. And you go down this rabbit hole.
I love going on like streaming services where like you sign up and you're already paying like a pretty decent monthly fee. And then they're like, oh, you want to watch this? Well, you either got to pay extra or join this package.
Correct.
And it's like, oh, that's a scam. I've seen that before.
I remember, I think it was Amazon Prime. I was watching a show and they're like, you can do a seven day free trial to Showtime, or And I'm like, okay, I don't want to sign up for Showtime, but I really want to watch the show. So that means I have to watch the show in X amount of days because I'm already paying for Prime. But then I don't understand why certain streaming services offer certain shows that you have to have subscription for through a different service. So now they're like these streaming services are connected to other streaming services to get the advertisements for the streaming service, like a Showtime on an Amazon Prime. So then it gets confusing. And then also it's like, why is this show costing me more when I'm already paying for a streaming service? It's just frustrating. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad problem to have, but like Netflix was so far ahead of the curve with everything. Now that everyone is in the content game, you see all these different streaming services having like coming out with originals. Like all these different original shows. HBO Max has a bunch of original shows. Apple TV Plus, Netflix. I mean, what is Apple TV Plus's claim to fame? It's Ted Lasso. And like everything else is like, okay, what is this? So like everyone's just trying to outduel each other for the best creative, most up to date content, you know? It's wild. It's the wild, wild west for streaming services right now, and it's not gonna get any less wild. It's just gonna get crazier.
Have you ever heard of the theory that Netflix, they make all this original content? If you scroll through it, you see hundreds of different selections. Have you ever heard the theory that some of them are blank?
What do you
How
mean?
many times have you been scrolling Netflix and you scroll over 50 tabs and probably see stuff you would never click on?
Are you saying the tabs themselves are blank? Like there's no labels on
I'm
them?
saying, like, they're just saying that there's all this content, but, like, if you go to try to watch it, there's
I
nothing
mean,
there.
honestly, I wouldn't
I've
be
just heard about
surprised.
that. I'm not saying that's what's happening.
Yeah, but again, like I wouldn't be surprised if HBO kind of had the same thing. Like any of these bigger ones that have so much stuff. Because some people, the funny thing is, some people spend an evening not watching a show, just going through the menu. Like some people literally like spend a
Indecisive.
free night and just do that, not even watching anything. So yeah, there could be blanks, there could be glitches that we don't know. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't run into that personally, but doesn't mean it's not possible. I mean, I'm open to it. I'm kind of curious now next time I go on to see if I well, that's if I have a bunch of free time that I'm just gonna waste. I can go scroll to like the recesses of the Netflix algorithm to see how far I can go down or to see if it's blank or not. Have you tried that? Have you
No.
tried looking, or you just read articles about it?
I have gotten rid of my Netflix subscription.
Really? Yeah. I mean, the prices nowadays are. I keep getting emails about certain subscriptions, like my YouTube TV going up, stuff like
I
that.
just wanted to chop down the amount of streaming services I had. I was like, I really
Yeah.
don't hop on all these different ones. I'm just gonna keep it to 2 maybe.
But you should keep Hulu if you don't.
I'd kept Hulu and
Yeah.
YouTube TV, shout out.
Yeah. I mean, Hulu you use a lot, especially the new Wu Tang that you got me on. Didn't the new season just drop on that? I gotta get on that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Also, they're finishing the series on Snowfall currently. Another
Yeah.
interesting watch.
Yeah, yeah. I still have to get back on that. I was on it for a little bit and then I dropped off. Yeah, that's just I don't know, man. We'll see what happens, but right now I have HBO Max. Well, I have it through my father-in-law's FiOS that I use. I have Netflix. I have Hulu because I have that paired with my Spotify Premium. Disney Plus because I have the Verizon Unlimited plan for my cell phone, so that benefits Sammy. And then I think we have Apple TV Plus because we bought an Apple product some time ago. I don't know. There's all these different little ways they get you to subscribe if you buy certain things, but that's just business. But yeah, it's gotten out of hand, honestly. All the different pluses, this plus, that plus. This I think there's Discovery Plus. I'm pretty sure there's a Discovery Channel Plus.
There's all kinds of subscriptions. It's insane.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've gotten that off our chest, changing subjects here, shifting our focus to a little bit of a different topic. Just as we were talking about in the last video about the MLB and how they've gotten creative and innovative with rule changes. And so far we've seen the fruits of that where the games are shorter. The shortest game of the season, I think, was 1 hour and 48 minutes. Like that almost
Definitely been impressive.
yeah, that's cutting the game time in half. I mean, for the less attention span people, and then you have the no shifts that are causing more runs to be scored, more stolen bases for bigger bases, pitch clock for the games to go down. So all that to say, Ryan and I have both come up with another possible solution for basketball, just any level.
More of an idea. It doesn't have to be
Well, yeah,
some like I mean
it's our
basketball
personal
already has an
improvement.
incredible viewership, but
Yeah, no. I'm not talking
just
about the
something
views
interesting.
necessarily. We're just talking about we're spitballing here. We thought this might be a cool little extra thing. Is the half court shot. Now we see it on different promotions on like during halftime. Someone wins tuition in college, or someone in the pros wins like a $10,000, and all the the pro teams on that in that game. Like I remember when LeBron jumped on the one fan, which is pretty cool that you have one of the best players in the league jumping on you after you make a half court shot, celebrating with you. I mean, that's how cool of a feeling is that. But if we can actually put it in the game itself and make it worth 4 points. Now, we'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Do you think a 4-point half court shot in a live game of basketball, how would that change viewership, if at all? Do you think it'd make the game more exciting? Do you think it would change the way the game is played?
Like if a half court shot was worth 4 points.
Yeah.
So I guess like I mean just right away in college ball, I feel like that would be insane because I mean how many times in this just recent March Madness did we see somebody chuck it up from the line and like just kind of make it towards the end of the game?
Yeah.
What if a team's down by like I guess they can be down by a little more now if they can get 4-pointer. I mean, what happens if you get fouled at the foul line? That's crazy.
Sure. No. That's interesting, Ryan, because the whole idea of like the last 2 minutes of the game, if a team's down by this much, then they start fouling because they want to get more possessions. Well, all of a sudden, if the person makes 2 free throws, you're down 2. Now you're up 4, but that doesn't mean you're out of reach. Before, the strategy would have to change in the way it's coached. That's a good point. I
Oh
didn't think of
yeah.
that.
Towards
Because
the
all of
end
a
of the
sudden you
game,
have
the whole last minute.
and the other thing is, you get fouled on a half court shot, then you get 4 free throws.
Yeah, that's the thing I was gonna say. It's just interesting because I mean, you really got to be careful now. I mean, the guy could be going for a pass. Who's to say he doesn't try to fake a shot and the ref might call it? I mean, you saw how bad the officiating was this
Dude.
last March Madness.
I'm telling you, man, you see so many. It's not even in the pros. It's college, even some high school games where people generate offense by drawing fouls. Now they're trying to get rid of that a little bit because they can tell if you're if you're faking it too much, that they actually call an offensive foul. So it's
Yeah,
like it's a judgment
if
call
you're
though.
in the pain and all.
Yeah. But for me, I find this rule change to be more interesting for the pros. Here's why. I mean, look at Steph Curry and Damian Lillard. They're already shooting their 3-pointers for almost half court to begin with. So, like, you think the games are high scoring now?
Oh,
You're going to have all-star type scoring games if you change this to like a 4-point shot, right?
I think with the level of play the NBA players have, like the amount of talent that like more than just a couple players, like the amount of talent in the league, strategies would change. Just like you said, towards the end of college basketball games, there would now be a play where it's just like, yeah, give it to Curry at the half court line.
Yeah, like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, like especially Damian Lillard and Curry, where they've changed the math. They've optimized the market inefficiency with 3-pointers where it's like, let's just take a bunch of threes because we're great at shooting. We shoot it at a minimum 40% clip, which is like top 5 in the NBA. And you shoot so many threes, obviously threes worth more than 2. So more of a probability that you're going to be scoring more every time you're down the floor. And people have to guard you differently when you're shooting from that far out. I mean, people already have to guard them differently because of their range. But now you throw in a 4-point half court 4-pointer. I mean, goodness, that the defense is going to be like almost having to press. You know what? Actually, I think Ryan, you're onto something about the defense too. I think the defense is going to, like in the regular season, they're going to have to try more because the NBA, they don't really try that much on defense.
Yeah, it's like an offensive showcase, and like the defense is just kind of there for the matchup, and it's like,
Until the
oh, he got
playoffs.
his ankles broken.
Yeah, until the playoffs, because the playoffs they actually start trying, and you
Well,
actually
they
see
have
good
to, yeah,
basketball because they're playing for the playoffs. But it would,
playing
I
for the
think it would
rings,
also, what's that?
playing for the rings.
Exactly. But this would incentivize regular season defense because you're going to be having to play defense literally half court back to the basket. So you might be trying to press them
Yeah.
more.
Well, you'd have to press them more, which is where I guess we already brought up a couple times like that. That's where we start getting more chances at the 4-point foul shots, which would be insane if they got the and one on that, made it a 5-point play.
I didn't
That
even
would
think about the
be
5-point play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
wow.
be that would be more NBA. I feel like I don't think a
Yeah,
college kid's gonna get fouled and still sink the bucket.
yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I think this is a good segue too. Like in general, talking about between the two different ones. Like, here's another thing, you guys. You can leave comments below in your opinions. But what are your all's opinions between the college game and the NBA game? Because for me personally, I really like college basketball better. You see a lot, like every game, the kids are just playing their guts out. Like defense, it's just when they're either playing a tough zone or man to man, you're getting hustle, you're getting attention and focus 24/7. They're listening to their coaches. The coaches have much more influence on strategy than NBA coaches. Let's be real. You're coaching college kids and drawing up a lot more plays because they don't have the skill set that the NBA players on an individual level do. So NBA coaches are like, let's draw up certain plays, but go be Steph Curry, go be LeBron, go be Kevin Durant. Like, make your own shot. A lot of these NCAA players, they play like a team where there's a lot of backdoor cutting, um, just a lot more unselfish play, and the defense gets ratcheted up each game. And then of course, the difference between a college atmosphere versus the NBA atmosphere at a game is it's just night and day. The student sections, the people are so much more passionate at college games, regular season or March Madness than NBA. Because also the NBA tickets are crazy expensive. Like some of those seats near the court are like 5 grand, 5 to 10 grand, especially when you get towards the like semifinals or the NBA finals. It's ridiculous. So I like college basketball through and through, just all around better. What about you, Ryan?
I definitely support that. I'm all about college basketball. I mean, the NBA for me, it's just hard to get into. I mean, defense is definitely one part of that, but I really think a bigger part of that is just the fact that the players are just there's so much talent throughout the league. To me, it's more of like an offensive showcase. I mean, I definitely think there's a lot of teams that use a lot of teamwork, but there's definitely a lot of teams that just kind of rely on two guys to score left and right. I feel like in college ball, you see a lot more surprises, a lot more surprise plays, surprise wins, a lot of underdogs that you weren't expecting, a lot of buzzer beaters and stuff. Like you said, the fans are just so into it. I mean, college basketball is definitely the best out of the two, but the
Yeah.
NBA is still pretty good. I mean, they draw a good crowd, but
Oh
at the
yeah.
end of the day, I'd rather just watch college ball.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that. That's a good point. The unpredictability. Like you typically have a lot of the top teams in the NBA. You don't see a lot of upsets. Like that one stretch of like 5 years when it was like LeBron and the Cavs versus Curry and the Warriors in the finals like multiple years in a row. It's like, okay, come on.
I mean, definitely
Boring.
recently there's been a lot more talent distributed a little better. So,
Yeah.
like, there's definitely been their fair share of upsets. But just with college ball, I mean, I just feel like the public doesn't get too into the stats with every team. So it's like a bigger surprise when there's an upset.
Like
Like a lot of
FDU.
times you see an upset and you're like, oh, well, that was because of Kyrie or something. But like it just depends. Like I feel like an NBA upset, they kind of just brush it off on whoever the best player is on that team. But like
Yeah.
a college team, you're like, whoa, what happened? What did they do?
Yeah, like FDU beating Purdue when FDU had the 363rd worst, like easiest strength of schedule, meaning they have like one of the easiest strengths of schedules. They're playing a 1 seed. Purdue's the tallest team in the league, and FDU is the shortest team in the league. And they were a 16 seed in the upset of 1 seed. Like, talk about unpredictable. That was, you know, it's only the second time it's ever happened. So just there's an excitement. People are, especially when it gets to March Madness. There's another level of, um, this is a one game, single game elimination versus like the NBA. You have 7 game series each round. So, all right. So let us know what you think. About the 4-point half court shot. Do you think that's going to affect the game positively, negatively? would you be in favor of watching it for more entertainment? And then, what are your thoughts on the NBA versus college basketball? What's more exciting to watch? Give us your reasons why you think one is better than the other. So, comment below, like and subscribe, share this with your friends, and we hope to catch you next time. Talk some more stuff. I feel like this episode was a little bit of stuff in sports. So, nice little hybrid of both. So,
I know, definitely comment below if you have any other ideas, any other stuff you want us to kind of talk about, anything else you think is interesting, our viewers.
cool.
Comment below.
Yep. Let us know. We need your help. Thanks. Peace.